Hello, you guys. I'm so sorry it has taken me so long to get the recording done on how to find builders. I had it done and I had internet difficulties and I was kind of grumpy that day. So I thought, you know what, I will record this at another time. So I have my shiatsu massager going on my feet right now. Can you see me moving back and forth? I'll stop that. And we're good to go. I'm going to talk about finding new builders because it's something I'm really excited about or passionate about, and it's what keeps your business growing. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we are going to go to this right here. So perfect. So we're going to start this from the beginning, and then we are going to, sorry you guys, I'm always trying to play from start. I'm always trying to juggle everything, the Zoom and the PowerPoint all at once. Okay, so finding builders. So I will tell you, building over the last 7 years, I don't have like this secret recipe that's like, okay, do this, go here, say that, do this, and all of a sudden you're going to have your 6 builders for Presidential Diamond. I definitely don't have that, but there are some things that I've learned along the way that I'm excited to share with you. Let me turn this light down. I always have this ring light on and I think, oh, this will make it so you guys can see me, and then I start going blind in the middle of it. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. That is so bright. But anyway, I want to share, you always want to continue enrolling as you're building this business. You can't ever really get to a point where you just think, oh, I don't need to keep enrolling. I can just rely on my builders. You really always do need to be putting time and effort into this business. Otherwise, your business will start going backwards. So, continuing to enroll and finding builders is definitely a key thing. So the number one thing you can do to find builders is stay committed to building. And I have on here, don't stop and start. I have a lot of people that will say, I'm going to build a business, and they're waiting for the perfect time, and they'll stop and start, and they have a really hard time when they come back finding their place with their team again, because either people have decided to build without them, or people lose faith in the process because they're thinking, well, if my upline isn't going to keep building, why would I keep building? So you need to stay committed. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not times when you need to take a little bit of a pause and slow things down a little bit. That's okay. You always want to keep going though. Maybe you're only doing 1 class a month. Maybe you're only doing, 1 event a month instead of doing 2 or 3 a week. But you always want to make sure that you're moving forward, because that will hurt your business more than anything. The thing that will hurt your business more than anything is stopping and starting. I've seen it a lot where people think, I'm just going to take the summer off. And if you ever take the summer off, it turns into a year and your people will get frustrated and it's just not worth it. So make sure that to always stay committed. Your attitude is also huge. If you're loving the business, it's going to be so much easier to attract new builders. And I've had so many moments where I feel burned out, where I feel tired, where I think, why am I still doing this? This is hard. And the truth of it is this is a hard business. It's an amazing and very rewarding business. But anything that's worth anything is always going to require you to stretch and grow. So if you're feeling frustrated, like, oh man, I need to be in a better place, or, then get to that better place. Because if you're in a negative mode, if you're feeling sorry for yourself, that will be reflected as you're trying to find new builders. So make sure to really focus on getting yourself to a good and positive place so that you can be effective in building the business. You will attract more people the more positive you are. So do what you need to do with self-care. Maybe identify what you love about this business, why you're doing it, what it provides for you in your life, and why you like it, so that you've got a good attitude when you're building, because that's going to make a big difference in attracting people. If someone hates what they're doing, you're never going to go up to them and say, hey, what are you doing? I want to do that too. You're going to do the opposite. You're going to be like, okay, whatever they're doing, I'm not going to do that at all because it's not fun. So you will attract more builders the more happy you are with what you're doing. And you can always get there. I really firmly believe that no matter what's going on, you can always find joy in your journey, even if it have rough patches and rough moments. It's huge to have an intention to find builders. If you're not intentional with what you're doing, it's going to take a lot longer to get where you're going. And so I always tell people to create your dream list. Who do you want to be building with you? And then stay patient and be positive. So what I mean by that is you never want to just wait for them to come to you. You definitely want to do what you need to do to find those people. but create your dream list. Who do you want to build with you? Who do you know is, man, if that person would build with me, they'd be so great. Always have a list of 5 people that you're like, man, I want that person to be on my team, or I really want to work with that person. And just create a good relationship with them. Nurture your network. That's huge. Whether you take one person to lunch every month or even a week that you would love to work with, that's huge, because and you don't want to just take them to lunch and drown them in the business opportunity, but really connect with them. And remember, if you're in a good positive space with building and feeling excited about it, as it comes up with what you're doing with your life, people are going to be attracted to that. It's like, well, she's happy, she loves what she's doing, I want to hitch my wagon to hers. So nurture your network, create your list of who you want to work with, and then really work on those relationships. And be patient. You don't want to take them to lunch and say, hey, I want you to build this business with me right away. That may come up. You may see the need right away, but be patient and wait for the right moment to say things. Don't wait too long. And always be positive. If you go to somebody and say, oh, I'm doing this business and it's amazing and I love it, that's going to be way more helpful than acting annoyed with what you're doing. So be patient, be positive, and nurture that network of people that you want to build with you. It's also important to identify who you want to work with. Sometimes it's easy to say, well, everybody needs essential oils. And yes, you're right. Everybody does need essential oils. But you want to really have it narrowed down who you would like to work with. I have a gold on my team who has really decided, you know what, I want to work with moms that have young kids, because that is who I identify with. It's who I know how to help, and it's what I'm passionate about. And so that's what you need to do, is decide, who do you want to work with? Who is your dream builder? What's their income level? What's their age range? Do they have kids? Are they married? Are they single? But really identify what you want to work with. And, it sounds funny to say this, but the more narrowed down, the better. I was listening to a training by Deb Erickson, and she was talking about just advertising, and people don't just, when you're watching an ad for something, they're not saying that this is perfect to something. Every ad is geared towards a certain age range, certain generation, and sometimes even a gender. So you want to figure out who you want to work with. For example, if you're like, I really want to work with yoga teachers, you really have a good set path of, okay, I need to really get to know some yoga teachers. I need to go to yoga classes. I need to really get familiar with oils and how they would benefit a yoga teacher. So really get specific about who you want to work with. More narrowed down, the better. Again, always sharing your destination is huge. Yesterday, I went shopping for mattresses. I am buying 8 mattresses for my new home. We walked into a store and we, talked to the gentleman. I was literally, I don't want to say halfway asleep, because it was more like 90% asleep. I had just gotten back from Africa the day before, and I was absolutely exhausted. And of course, it always comes up, so what do you do for work? And I say, oh, I sell essential oils. And he was really excited. Oh, is that so? And I said, yeah, I love it. Have you ever tried them before? And he said, yeah, my ex-wife, she used to sell oils for doTERRA. And I was like, oh, that's so great. That's actually the company that I represent. But I was really excited with what I was doing, and I have been successful with this. And so I was able to share a little bit of success with that. If you haven't experienced the success that you would like so far, then share where you're going. So you could even say, yeah, I just started doing this business and I'm so excited because I'm planning on quitting my job by the end of the year, and this is going to be great. People are going to say, oh, you're quitting your job by the end of the year, or you're making your house payment with this. That's amazing. So for me, I shared with him, yeah, I actually have a team of, I shared the amount of people I have on my team, and I travel the world teaching classes on oils, and it's like my favorite thing ever. And I could see his wheels spinning, and we actually have lunch set up next week to chat about doing the business because he's really interested in it. Then I also threw in, what if you outrank your ex-wife? And he said, now you're talking. But be confident in what you're doing, and always mention that you're doing the business. Even if you have another job, that's okay. You can say, yeah, I teach special ed, or I cut hair, or I'm a massage therapist. I also sell essential oils, and it's great because my essential oil business should be my main income within the next year. So I'm really excited. So be confident in what you're doing. Live a life that people want to live. And that doesn't mean that you have to live this rich, glamorous life. It's nothing like that. But even just being positive and happy, that there's people that I'm super attracted to, not like in a sexual way, of course, but just, I'm like, man, they're so content with who they are. They're so happy with who they are. They're just confident. be that person, because then people are going to want to do whatever it is that you're doing. And then, as I mentioned, maybe you're not in a place where you're making an income that you're like, yeah, this has been so great, I'm making this much money. So if you're not at that place yet, show them where you're going with this. I'm quitting my job at the end of the year to do this business full time. I'm really excited. Or, man, I love selling these oils. I've actually been able to make my house payment every month with the income I'm making. Or I'm going to be making my house payment with the income that I'm making. So share your destination and invite them to come along. There are times you just get that little nudge, that little feeling that you need to say something to someone. There was a woman that I've been working with recently that she purchased the oils because she was extremely ill after donating her time to some hurricane rescue victims. Was really, really sick. And she was just talking about, she ordered a kit. We got it on the way. She got it and fell in love with the oils very quickly because they helped her to feel better, strengthen that immune system. Anyway, she was telling me how much she loved the oils. And then she was telling me that she was struggling financially. Come on, you guys, what do you say? So I just briefly mentioned, if you're interested, I'd love to chat with you about you doing this business. I have a feeling you'd be really good at it. You love these oils. And I know you mentioned that you're struggling with finances. This is actually what my husband and I do for a living. And she said, yeah, I'd love to talk more about that. And you'll have people turn you down, but I think it's important to say something, take the pressure off. And if they say yes, that's a great conversation you get to have. If they say no, it's okay. So always show people where they're going and invite them to come along. You'll meet people along the way that are mentioning things, and you can say, hey, come sell oils with me. This is so great. I've been able to, make my car payment, my house payment. I'm quitting my job in a year, whatever it is. The other important thing is you're looking for builders is to make sure that you always mention the business. One thing I do love about doTERRA is that it is a product-based company. That is one of our strengths. We have a lot of consumers on our teams, which is huge. That's actually really strengthens. It's a strength, and it's a good feature in a comp plan to have a lot of consumers, people that are going to be ordering no matter what every month. But one thing that's important is to always mention the business in whatever you're doing. So anytime I'm doing a one-on-one or a class, I always mention the business. Especially at the end of classes, I'll just say, I want to address the elephant in the room. Sometimes people want to know if this is a network marketing company, and it is. And you know what? I love it. This is actually how my husband and I earn our income. And it's been really great because we have so much flexibility. We are able to travel the world. We're able to, whatever it is that you're able to do that you love about the business. So briefly mention the business, and you can simply say, if this interests you, or if you would like to earn money teaching people about oils and sharing oils with people, I'm going to be doing a little brief business opportunity into this class. So always mention the business, even if it's really brief. You want to honor the fact that people are there for a class and make sure that the class is about the class, but you can always add on something at the end. A really good time to mention the business is at the end of a wellness consult. So after somebody has enrolled and I'm doing a wellness consult with them, turn my massage thing back on. One thing I like to do is just ask them if they'd like to host a class. At the end of any wellness consult, I'll just say, as you've been sitting here, I am sure you've probably thought about a few people who would love these oils, and I would love to come and do a class for you. Right now, I'm doing a promotion where anybody who hosts a class this month gets a free diffuser. Is that something that interests you, and is there a date that works? Or I have 3 dates open, and any of these work for you. So that's what I do, and it's been amazing how many classes I've been able to book that way. Sometimes people say no, and that's okay. I always mention the business. I always ask them to host. Because the way I see it is it's like we're walking down a path. The first step down the path is getting them to try oils. And then further down the path is they're getting their own account. Then further down the path, they're getting on LRP. Further down the path, they're hosting a class. Then further down the path they're building. So I'm just trying to walk them along the path. I always if someone's interested in the business, I always set up an appointment for later. So the gentleman that I was working with yesterday that was interested in learning more about the business, I set up a lunch. I always like to set up appointments. I like to do this even if people are interested in oils. They say, oh, I really love essential oils. I'll say, that's so great. What I'd love to do is set up a time to chat more with you about that so that I can answer your questions and, as best as possible. So I set up an appointment right then and there. So I set up an appointment. I'm meeting for lunch with this gentleman next Friday at noon at Applebee's. Do you guys want to come? But the point is that I set up a time to chat with him. I don't ever just say, Oh yeah, let's meet up sometime. I always want to get a specific time set up right then and there. And I don't want to ever fire hose them or sell on the fly where it's telling them all the reasons. Like yesterday when I was buying that mattress, if I would have sold him on the business and told him about it was amazing and yada, 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 and he should do this, he could quit his job, he's going to be overwhelmed. And so that's why I simply set up another appointment later. So make sure you always mention the business and get a time set up to chat. The number one way to find builders is to keep enrolling. It's a numbers game. The more people enroll, the more builders you'll find. You will enroll people that want nothing to do with the business, and that's okay. You will enroll people that will never order again in their life, and that's okay. But the more people that you sign up, the more that are going to get on LRP, the more builders you're going to find, and that really is the key. I just went on a trip with a bunch of blue and presidential diamonds, and it was incredible, but I found myself really comparing myself. Why am I not presidential yet? And my husband said, well, do you remember last year you enrolled? Well, in the last year I've enrolled more like 30 people, at least between 30 and 40. But the year before I enrolled 4 people. It's really difficult to find good builders when you're enrolling 4 people a year. So it's really important that you're upping your enrollments, because the more enrollments you get, the more people you're going to find to build. So thank you so much for being patient for this webinar, and hopefully you have found this helpful, and good luck finding those builders.